everyone. In this presentation, we're going to talk about implementing directives in .ini files. First, we need to see what .ini files actually are. An .ini file is a configuration file utilized by computer software. It consists of text-based content structured with a syntax involving key-value pairs for properties and organized into sections. The key-value pairs represent specific settings, while sections group these settings into categories, enhancing organization and readability. Now let's talk about directives. Directives refer to specific instructions or commands that configure the software or application. These directives are typically organized into sections and key-value pairs, allowing developers and users to customize the software's functionality according to their requirements. In other words, directives in the context of .ini files are explicit instructions or commands that dictate how a software or application behaves. They serve as the language through which developers and users communicate with the software, defining parameters, settings, and configurations.
Now let's look at the basic structure of an ini file. It is section-based, providing a neat and organized way to manage configuration settings. Each section is defined by headers enclosed in brackets, creating logical containers for related settings. Also, it contains one or more key-value pairs called properties, which represent runtime options for applications. Comments can be also added by using semicolons at the start of the line. Now let's talk about the syntax of directives within an ini file. First, let's talk about the comments. Comments are a handy feature offering human-readable explanations or notes. They start with a semicolon or a hash and ignored by application when reading the file, which makes them perfect for adding context without affecting functionality. Keys, the configuration parameters within a section, follow the section declaration. They are separated from their corresponding values by an equal sign or a colon. Sections, enclosed in square brackets, they behave as a container for related settings, helping in the organization of configuration data. Values, the actual data associated with the keys, come after the equal sign. This can be text, numbers, or other data types depending on the application's requirements. Some ini file formats even support multi-line values, allowing for more complex configurations. If a value spans multiple lines, it's often continued with an indentation, treating all lines as part of the same value. White space around the equal sign is generally ignored, offering flexibility in formatting. However, it's important to note that key value and section names cannot contain leading or trailing white space. Now, a point worth remembering is a case sensitivity. While section names are case sensitive, key names and values are usually not. However, to ensure compatibility, it's good practice to maintain consistency, as some applications might treat key names or values as case sensitive. In conclusion, understanding the structure and syntax of ini file is key to effectively managing configurations in various applications. Whether you're working with software development, system administration, or any other field that involves configuration settings, the knowledge of ini file proves invaluable.
In this part of presentation, I'm going to explain how to implement the directives in .ini files. Implementing directives in .ini files involves creating and managing the structure of these files. Here are some steps of how to implement directives in .ini files. First step is to design our .ini file structure. Here we need to determine the sections and directives. Step 2 is to create the .ini file. We can use a text editor to create a new .ini file. Step 3 is to define sections and directives. Inside the .ini file, we use square brackets to define sections. Step 4 is to implement a way so we can read the .ini file and parse its content in our application. The next step is to provide a mechanism in our application so we can modify the values of directives whenever we need to do so. Step 6 is to write the changes back to .ini file. In case if we modify the configuration settings, we need the way to write the changes back to .ini file. And the last step is to document the available sections and directives in .ini file so we can help users or other developers to understand how to configure our application correctly. On the next slide, I am going to present some directives that are often found in .ini files. The directives can vary depending on the specific application or software. However, some directives are commonly used across different applications and systems. In .ini files, we can often find the file paths that specify the location of the log files, or for instance some directories with temporary files. Other directives could include the database connection strings, some network configuration values, and also general information about our applications such as application name or the version of our application.
So this is a demo, and I will show you where to find the ini file and how to change the configuration inside. I will use this application, QQ Music, as the example. So first of all, we can try to locate this application file, and it is here in the users, and then in app data, roaming, and then I can find this this application folder here. And we click inside, we can browse like all the folders and files in this application. And here we can see this is a configuration setting file. And we can click on the property of one of this configuration setting. And you can see the extension of this file is ini, so this is the file we are looking for. And we can also open this file in Notepad. And this is the section, like in the square brackets. And this is the key and the value pair of this configuration setting. And we can also open another one because they all have different key and values there. And if you want, we can also modify the values inside or try to add something new. But I will just leave it here. And you can see there are many different ini files: music service config, monitor QQ Music, and also the startup, update info, and you click inside. All those sections and key value pairs are the different configuration settings of the application. And because this ini file is called startup, so I believe all those settings, like all those values inside, is to control the configuration settings when the application startup.
Thank you for watching our presentation.